Hello, guys. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Priscilla Kuma. I'm a registered nurse, come from Ghana, West Africa, and based in New York State, where I practice nursing. And I have a UK trained RN who is now a USRN and also a fellow YouTuber and a mother and so many things. She is going to tell us how she was able to transfer her UK trained education to be able to use it in USA and become a USRN. Many of you have the notion that when you train in UK, you cannot work in USA. I recently brought a video of a UK trained RN who is now working in USA as an RN. And then I have another UK trained RN who is now a US RN. I'm also the lead consultant for USRN Pathway Consult. If you're a registered nurse, midwife, or psychiatry nurse who is interested in working in America and don't know how to go about it, please head to www.usrnpathwayconsult.com, register on there, and we can start your onboarding process. Hi, Lola. Welcome to my YouTube channel.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me, Priscilla. It's very nice to be on your show. I'm a big fan.
Wow. Thank you. I'm glad to have you here, too. Please introduce yourself to my viewers in case of those who don't know you.
So hi guys, my name is Lola, UK trained RN. I've been a RN for 15 long years now.
So you trained in UK, you went to nursing school in UK, correct?
That's correct.
So you are a UK trained nurse. You did not train in USA?
No, I did not.
Okay, so you are a UK trained nurse. And what type of nurse are you?
When I first trained, I trained as an adult nurse in the United Kingdom. But I went into trauma orthopedic for my first job. But I realized that that wasn't for me. So I immediately switched to ICU. I did the introduction to ICU, and then I did the specialist nurse ICU course. And then started working in ICU. So once I finished the ICU course, at the time they were doing automatic, where you would just go to be a band 6, and that's what happened. Yeah.
So how did you become a USRN? Where did the interest come from to work in America? You lived a lot of your life in UK.
My journey, I'm going to say, it started before I even started nursing. So I actually, had friends in America, and they always kept on saying to me, come, you're better off here as a nurse. So when I went into the nursing training, I went into nursing with a specific, focus as to I am going to move to the US. So my journey kind of had me doing my research in advance in order to be on the right track to be able to qualify to be an RN in the US.
Did you have a chance to choose the courses that will be accepted in the USA?
So no, they kept changing the nursing course throughout the years. I believe some of the current trained nurses are struggling in the UK to try and go get their CES reports done. But they kept changing for a reason, and that was because there was a shortage of nurses in the UK. It's even harder now. I've even had some of my students get back to me to say, oh, their universities have started to even refuse to do their CES report, which is crazy, really. Why would you refuse to do your student CES report? But because so many nurses are leaving the profession and there's a huge shortage, they're just making it very difficult for people to migrate. But in my case, I never had that problem. This is going back 15 years. When you think about that time, that was the right opportunity to migrate, that right time to migrate. So when I started my nursing course, I made sure that I looked at my syllabus. There were some aspects that were missing on the syllabus. But I knew that if I did my research properly, I would be able to do those placements as I went along in that 3-year degree. And that's exactly what I did. So in my last placement, which was a 13-week placement, I made sure that I covered the area that was missing, which was the child aspect and the mental health aspect. The maternal and obs and gynae, I didn't really, we did some sort of 2 weeks, I don't know what I would call it. It wasn't a placement, it was like a workbook. So I was able to use that as part of my transcript, and I sent it over to CGFNS, got my university to verify that I did those hours, and they stamped it, and that's how CGFNS allowed me to take my exam.
Yes. The other lady I spoke to, she also had to do some courses, I think King's College, she said, before she could put it together and get credential evaluation. But recently, I put up a video on my channel about how UK nurses, trained nurses, can work in USA. I have personally helped nurses who train in UK who have a role with our consult, and they've got a positive CES report. And their way to write it.
Yeah, there's a way around it. There's ways around it. Absolutely.
There is a way around it. That is the assurance or reassurance most UK trained nurses need to know. There is always a way around it. You need to know what you are doing, and you need an expert to guide you through the process. So you mentioned before that you already had a chance to come to the USA. You were visiting back and forth, or you had like a green card.
So yeah, I was already going back and forth to America. I had my friends living down there. To be honest with you, I'd already qualified, 6 months before I decided to apply for my CES report. CGFNS took a very long time. It took 8 months for them to do the transcript. And oh my God, that was with me chasing them constantly.
You don't wanna go to CGFNS these days. They would mess you up.
At all. They will waste your 8 months is a long time. I say to people now, ERES all the way, because they will get it done within few months, even earlier sometimes, CGFNS, they will waste your time, they will take your money. I have a friend currently that has done CGFNS 3 times and paid 3 times, because after 1 year, if you hit the 12 months, you have to pay again. And it's not your fault, it's because they have not done their job. So, that's another story. CGFNS is not the right way to go. So I did CGFNS, and thank God, because I'd pre-prepared myself, they, allowed me to do my exam. I applied for a visa screen immediately, because obviously, I'd started the process with them, so it made sense to just go ahead and do that straight away. But I had this in my hand for a while. I'd taken my NCLEX, and I had a job offer in Cocoa Beach. And at the last minute, the employer was taken by another organization, and they decided that they were not going through with processing papers for international nurses. So I never ended up taking up that position, because obviously they were taken over by another organization. So I sat down and I waited a bit longer. Then I met my husband. So I went to America with a fiance visa, which only took about 6 months to process. And that's how I ended up in Atlanta, Georgia. That was my first green card.
You submitted just your transcript from your studies to CGFNS and they accepted it, or you had to add another additional course to the CGFNS before you did the CGFNS?
No, because I'd already pre-planned myself. I made sure that my clinicals and my theory hours were up to par with what CGFNS required of me. So they gave me allowed me to go forward. Now I applied to Georgia initially. Georgia, they gave me my ATT. I was able to do my NCLEX exam. At the time I did the exam, it was very, very different from what it is now, because, it has changed, of course, with the new one that's just recently come out as well. At the time, the NCLEX exam was 265 questions over 6 hours. And believe you me, it's a lot harder than what it is now. A hell of a lot harder. In my opinion, they've made it easier for you guys. So take the opportunity and go for it. Do your exam. You'll be fine. But when I did the NCLEX exam, once I passed, I started looking for a job. Now, I was already in the US before I looked for a job. So there were still some additional things like getting social security number and everything that I had to do before I could actually start working. But I think that all took about 2 to 3 months. And then by that time, I'd had 3 job offers, and I was just waiting to do my BLS, American Heart Association. Just to let you guys know, whatever country you've got your, ACLS, your BLS, it is not accepted in the United States. I'm just telling you right now, don't waste your time. Extra course, if you know you're going to America, unless you're planning to, it's something like it's an internationally accepted course, don't waste your time. They didn't even accept my ICU course in America. They wanted me to redo everything again. So I had to do that. So I arranged for that. The hospital that employed me said that because I was already an RN and was already experienced and I wasn't a newly qualified, they usually give you about 6 months to a year to do your ACLS. So they gave me 3 months because according to them, you're already a, experienced nurse. So I took time, I read and did my ACLS. At the time I was working in cardiac telemetry in Atlanta, Georgia. And the company I worked for were very lovely. Everybody was very nice. I really enjoyed working there. And as I said, the comparison of working in the UK and the US is totally different. Totally different.
So you already answered one of my questions. I was going to ask you which board of nursing did you use, but you said you used Georgia, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And did you have to take an English test, being somebody who grew up in UK and schooled in UK?
No. Now they want you to do an English exam if the language that your textbooks were not in English. Okay, so if you studied in the UK, your textbook was in English, you are exempt from doing the English language exam. So that was the case with me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So currently you are based in UK, right?
That's right.
But you are a USRN. So you were working in US in the cardiac telemetry?
That's right.
And then you moved back to UK?
And then I moved back to UK. So when I moved back to UK, of course, I had to keep my Georgia license going. Okay. The problem with Georgia is that if you move back and you're not a resident there anymore, because you have to provide proof that you're still residing in Georgia and you're still practicing in Georgia, they will not allow you to renew your license. So what I had to do was endorse the Georgia license to Texas. Okay. So now I have a Texas license, which I just recently renewed again.
So if I may ask, what informed your decision to leave America back to UK where you came from?
Okay. So at the time, I had a lot of issues with childcare. Now, my childcare was the biggest thing. So for those of you who have children, let me tell you, it's not cheap. Childcare will kill you in America.
That's for sure. That's for sure.
It will eat all your money. Okay. So fix your childcare before you leave. Organize something. Maybe if your children are older, it's easier. My son was still very young. But in saying that, I did not have my son in the UK. He's an American born. He was born in Atlanta. So really, he was one of their own, but I still struggled because even though he was born there, he wasn't used to in that environment. So he struggled in nursery. Every day he would vomit. They'll call me at work and tell me, come and collect your child, you know. And you have to understand that in the US, childcare is, to them, you need to fix your childcare because you don't work, you don't get paid. Okay, you can't keep calling off and saying, oh, my child is sick. They're going to tell you fix your childcare. You also need to be mindful as well that if you get a manager that's not very understanding, they want to write you up because your child is sick.
That's so America for you. Time is money. You gotta be physically.
Exactly. So I started first. I was full-time. I went part-time because he was having some health issues as well. He wasn't eating. He was losing a lot of weight. When I take him to the pediatrician would be like, I saw you 3 months ago. This boy has not put on 1 single pound. What's going on? So he wouldn't eat their food. I guess he just wasn't used to the grits. He'd look at the grits and vomit. So I don't know. But anyway, cut a long story short, because I think the straw that broke the camel's back for me was the day I had to take him to emergency room because he was so dehydrated when I picked him up. When I got there, I mean, 15 minutes of seeing them, that was $500. $500, 15 minutes in emergency room.
Welcome to
I'm like,
America.
I'm like, no, this is not going to work for me. You know, everything is free in the UK. If I take him to the doctors, it's free. Childcare is free. The government will pay for your childcare. You know, honestly speaking, things are good in the UK in that respect, that they are a bit more family friendly, but they just don't want to pay you as a nurse. That's the only problem. But if your children are older, you're more able to cope. Like now I'm going back, I'm able to cope better because my son is now 11.
Wow. So pretty much you left US back to UK because of struggle with childcare.
Yeah.
And you gave yourself some time for your child to grow up a little bit and you come back.
Exactly.
So in the course of living in the UK, you have been renewing your license with Texas?
Absolutely, yeah.
How many years is the renewal process? Is it every year, every 3 years? New York is
well, initially I let my license lapse in Georgia before I decided to endorse it to Texas. So my license must have lapsed for about 6 years. I let it lapse. So you can actually do that. You can let your license lapse. You don't actually have to do anything with it. And you don't have to go and redo the NCLEX exam, you know. So you let the license lapse. And then when you're ready, you just endorse it to another state. And I will tell you now, Texas and New York are one of the easiest places to get your license done. So any of you that are trying to, don't try California. It's the worst state. I have a friend right now that struggled in California. Okay. So everyone wants to go to California. I understand they pay more in California, but the cost of living is sky high. You wouldn't even be able to survive in California. It's just so expensive there. If you want to pay, what did she tell me the other day? She said she went to buy Dove soap. She paid $10 for Dove. I know, in California.
Oh my God. The cost of living there is outrageous. But
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So all of you that want to run to California, just leave it alone. You will not be able to register easily in California. You know, just make your life easier. Go for Texas or New York and just go that way. That's the best way.
You did mention before that for Georgia, you have to be physically present in there and still working to keep your license. So how did you let your license lapse again for 6 years?
Yeah, so I let my license lapse for 6 years. And when I was ready and I was like, okay, I'm going to start doing this whole thing again, I then applied to Texas. And when I applied to Texas, they just said, okay, well, we'll just get your license from Georgia. So I had a license that lapsed in Georgia that was sent over via NCLEX, because, you know, you register to NCLEX and all your licenses are available via that. So they sent it, and that was it. Texas just said, just do the jurisprudence exam, produce a fingerprint card, and then that was it. Oh, and provide your NMC PIN with the license that you have in the UK.
Yes, so that's all they needed, the NMC pin, the jurisprudence
NMC
exam.
PIN, jurisprudence exam, and then, of course, that you do your fingerprints again. Okay,
Yeah.
so if with your fingerprints, if you lived in another country, say like you were there before the age of 16, you will have to provide a fingerprint for that country as well.
Yes. So now it's time to come back to USA. What are your goals and aspirations? You have the license now, and are you looking for employment?
Okay, so I'm already employed, and I will be going to Florida, and I am on a contract, but I refused. I had a few offers. I refused to take any long-winded contracts of 3 years. I wasn't having it. So 2 years was all I'm prepared to do with anybody. So I took a 2-year contract, and I will be going back. So at the moment, my papers are in process yet again. This is the third time my papers are being processed. The first time I was married. The second time it was with an employer, but I pulled out at the last minute when I'd already been called for my interview. I should have been in America in August. I should have received my green card in August, but I pulled out. I re-evaluated what the company was getting out of me. And at the time, it was a 3-year contract. And I thought, no, I don't want to do this. And the money that you're paying is ridiculous. So the first thing to do is find another employer. And I did that, and then I pulled out. So that whole process has to go through again. But because there's now retrogression, now we are trying to make sure that I don't get caught up in retrogression, which is anyone that has applied to get a visa, EB3, in 2022, before June. Those are the people that they're dealing with. Anybody that applied 2022 after June, you will be caught in retrogression. So you will have a longer wait because the visas are running out right now, and they've already pre-warned people the new quota is not going to be till, you know, the new year, before they know how many green cards are available. But right now, the green cards are running out. So those of you who've already made your application, you are being served first, as long as it was done in 2022. If you made your application in 2023, you will be caught in retrogression.
So somebody watching this and following your story, which is very unique and extremely different from everybody's story, will ask, you came to USA through a fiancé visa, and you got here, got married, and got a visa. So you got a green card. So why are you now outside looking for another green card? What happened to the green card through the marriage, the first one?
Right, yeah. So my first green card was a temporary green card. So it was for 2 years. Now, when I moved back, I was thinking, I don't know if I'm going to go back to America, because it was a bit of a struggle at the beginning. But I think you have to give it a chance. And I think in my circumstances, if my son wasn't so young, and if I didn't struggle with, you know, being a new mom and all of that stuff, and I think it would have been better for me. And if maybe I had family support, because my husband was always traveling. So that support network as well, and always having to look for childcare was difficult. But anyone that's going that has that family support, then fantastic, they should be okay. So going back this time round, for me, it is better for me because I do have the support now. Number two, it's, you know, obviously I'm having to go through the whole process again, which is not ideal, because had I maintained my first green card, I wouldn't have to have gone through this route, but I thought I was not going to go back again. So that was why. And that was one of the things that the lawyer asked me as well. He was like, why did you let go of your green card?
Nobody has that. That's an abomination.
Yeah,
Nobody
it
has,
is. That's what he said. It's absolutely a no-no. You do not let go of your green card. We
never.
did try to revive it, but they said because it's been so long, we have to go through the process again. Yeah, yeah. So, but
Wow.
I still got the green card in my hand. So, I'm still in their system, which is good because they pull me up. When he checked the system, they pulled me up immediately. I have a social security number. I have an alien number. So everything is still there. So my process would have been quicker, and it's taking longer now because of my employer. My employer, it seems they are still fairly new to this process. They didn't have their labor perm ready. They were still fighting with their labor perm before they could file and all of these things. That's why it was taking a bit longer. Whereas the last agency, it was within 5 months. The process was 5 months because I was
Mhm.
ready in the system. They had their labor perm ready and everything. I pulled out because I didn't feel that that agency was giving me a fair pay. Because 3 years is a long time to be on 30 something, $32, $34. It's an awful long time when you have to consider cost of living is going up and up and up. And yeah, and when you consider how many years you've been a nurse for,
Mhm. Mhm.
you should not be on $32.
That's what I always say to nurses.
Mm.
Read that contract very well, but gain for all the years experience, all the certifications you have, all the specialties you've done. You spent
Mm.
money going to school, you spent time going to school, you've been working and harnessing all these experiences. You should go tell the employer what you think you are
What
worth.
you want? Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's been nice chatting you. I have
Yeah.
last two questions and then I'll let you go.
Oh,
What will you say is the topmost reason why you are now trying to move back to USA? You train in UK, move to USA, move back to UK. Why are you finally coming back to USA again?
okay. So if we look at exactly what's going on in the UK with the strikes, the nurses, I mean, I don't work as a nurse in a particular organization because I cannot give NHS any more of my time with the
Mhm.
kind of money they're trying to pay. And when you go in there, even as an agency nurse, you realize that these nurses are really struggling.
Mm.
I mean, I'm coming in as an agency nurse and I'm getting like, double and triple of what you are getting paid as a permanent staff. But yet you're having to show me around because I'm agency, I'm new, I don't know this hospital. Yeah. You could see how tired these nurses are. And even like the way the motivation, you could see that they are so, what do they call it? They call it burnt out.
Bent out.
Mm, yeah, so burnt out. And this is not the kind of life I wish for myself. I'm getting old, okay,
Mhm.
and I do not want to. I don't want nursing to kill me.
No, never don't kill you if you don't take and get out of there. You need to put your mental
Yeah.
health first.
And I've seen these nurses, and I just refuse to be in that position. And that's the top reason for going back. And plus, when you get to America, as a nurse, you got all these opportunities available to you. You could do case management, you could do travel nursing. I have one nurse that I did a YouTube talk with. Her name is Sheena P. She's really good travel nurse, and she's got all the information under the sun for you for travel nursing. So once you reach there, you reach out to her. She'll tell you all about travel nursing. She's been doing it for years. But Sheena says, here, you will make a hell of a lot of money as a travel nurse. And there's so many different, opportunities business wise for you as well. That's not the kind of opportunity you have in the UK. So that was the reason why.
Wow. Wow. Yes. So nurses are always afraid to make changes. Let's say human beings, we get so comfortable in one environment and we don't want to think outside the box or make that move. But what I keep telling nurses, if you're getting burnt out, if the environment is getting toxic, you are becoming a different person, you are being mean to your co-workers, you are being mean to the patients, and that is not who you are. It is time to get out. I did that. I got out from so many environments that was not helping me, and it's
Absolutely.
working out for me where I am now. And if it stops working out for me, I will be
You
on the
have to
floor.
leave. That's right.
There's so many
You know,
opportunities out here.
I like your attitude because there's a lot of nurses, and you look at them, you could see
Yeah,
that they are not happy.
they're not.
They've been in that job 10 years, 15 years. And if you approach them and you say, "Hi, what do you want?"
They are so angry. They are so on the edge. They want to blow off.
Oh, so angry. And you think to yourself, you need to get out of
You need to
this,
get
you
out
know?
before you kill a patient, innocent patient,
Yeah.
or family member.
Yeah. So,
You need to get out. So,
mm.
any advice you have for your fellow UK trained nurses who want to?
What I would say is don't give up. There are ways around the UK situation, and I do understand that they are trying to prevent you from leaving the country. That is more evident to me now. I've had students who have contacted me and said their university has refused to do their transcript. How can you refuse to do? And one lady contacted me and said the university dean said to her, UK nurses are not eligible to go to America. So just forget it.
Give me
So,
a chance. Give me my damn transcript.
give me my transcript.
Let them reject me. You don't have a right to let them. Let me give it a try first.
They are very mean. They've become very mean. I don't know if it's because the situation with the strikes and the shortage of staffing, and they're just trying to block your way. But you need to be determined because they cannot tell you what to do with your life. Okay, it is their job to provide that transcript to you. Okay, you went to that university, you took those courses, you got your qualification. You give me my damn transcript
You
right now.
paid fees
Exactly.
from your own
Give me my
pocket.
transcripts, right? One lady reached out to me because the university said to her, we're not doing a transcript. You go back, do it yourself, and we'll stamp it." Guess what? It was to her benefit because when she reached out to me, we went through her transcript and we did it step by step, theory, clinical, and lo and behold, she was just 1 year qualified. She got through with ERES.
Wow.
And because when she took it back to the university and they said to her, "You do it and we'll just stamp it." She took it back to the university. They didn't even look at it. They just stamped it and get out of my face sort of thing, you know? It was to her benefit. So if your university is telling you, do it, break it down yourself and we'll stamp it, it's to your benefit.
Just
Trust
do it.
me. Just do it.
Wow. So if you haven't learned anything from the discussion, the first thing is that migration is your right and nobody can stop you. Second thing, run away from CGFNS because they're going to stress you. You can't get hold of them 1 year and you have to pay and pay and pay over again. The third one is that you can be a USRN if you set your mind to it. It's doable. I brought people on this channel and this is another evidence as well. We are hoping and keeping our fingers crossed for you to enter America before all this drama of retrogression and everything. So what kind of field are you going to work when your job offer? Is it ICU, telemetry? What is it?
Oh no, I'm going to a totally different area now. I will be dialysis.
Nice, nice, nice. I love
I
this.
think because I don't particularly enjoy bedside.
Yeah.
Okay. And with the dialysis that I'm going to, it's not bedside, it's just 4 hours, have them moan, groan for 4 hours, kick them out. That's the way I like it.
Yeah, that's fine. There are so many options. You don't have to be confined in one
Exactly.
bedside. I got out of bedside too a couple years ago, and it's okay. So if it's not working for you, as I said, keep it moving. Dialysis, you sit by your computer, you sit by your machine, you hook the person up to their fistula. There you go. You're having your thing done. So I'm very proud of you. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank
And
you.
YouTube content. What made you start creating content on YouTube?
That was Jenny. Jenny. Jenny said, go on, you've got so much information to give out to people.
Yeah.
So just start your channel, get your intro done. And she
Yeah.
actually even looked at my intro for me when I did it. So
Okay.
she was really a good mentor. She went through things with me and she'll be like, yeah, this is good. No, this is not good. Take this out, you know. So she really was the person that helped me get on board YouTube. And she keeps saying it now. I'm lazy, you know, because I don't make that many videos. She's like, you need to make more videos. Like, at least just get your, you know, your subscribers going. So yeah. Thank you, Jenny.
Yeah, shout out Jenny Lynn Mitchell. That's a YouTube
Yeah.
channel. You guys go subscribe to her channel. She's been on my channel a couple times. I've been on her.
Yeah.
We just try to support each other. So
Of course.
shout out Jenny and thanks for the good work you're doing. And I cannot wait to have you two back on my channel. And I cannot wait to hear your story when you come to American nursing. You've had a feel of it before, so you know what to expect in one kind of way, though it's a different field. Thank you for your time, Lola, and I cannot wait
You
to
are
see you
welcome. Thank you for having me, guys. Good luck with your journey, and you know, the sky's the limit. Please don't let anybody discourage you. We do not deal with stress. We don't think about stress. We just keep it moving. By God's grace, you will get there. We pray.
Yeah.
All right.
Bye. Thank you.
Okay. Take care. Bye, guys.